Okay, welcome to the deep dive. Today we're gonna dive deep, as the name suggests, into England.
Right.
We're not talking dusty old history books here. This is about a place that's absolutely brimming with history that you can just feel, right? A culture that's had such a huge impact around the world.
Right.
And landscapes, oh, the landscapes that have inspired so many incredible artists and writers. We've got a great source here, packed with info. And, our mission today is to really pull out those fascinating insights, the nuggets that make England so special.
Yeah, I mean, it really is a sweeping story. I mean, you think about it from the very first, the Celtic tribes and then the Roman legions marching in, building those straight roads. I mean, they were all about infrastructure back then.
Oh, yeah.
And it's all the way to today's, the modern digital world, those vibrant multicultural cities. It's amazing. You've got those echoes of royal dramas, literary geniuses, and of course, can't forget the football, the roar of the crowd.
Yes, definitely.
It's quite a layered narrative, isn't it?
It is. And it's all laid out in this source, this journey through England's history, its culture, its landscape. So we're going to take you along with us as we unpack it all.
Absolutely.
Where do we even begin, I guess, at the beginning?
Well, I think starting with the journey through time chronologically gives us that solid foundation.
Yeah, makes sense.
So our source reminds us that long before England as we know it existed, you had these Celtic tribes. They were the original inhabitants, but then boom, 43 AD, the Romans arrive. Now it's easy to think, oh, they were just conquerors, but think about this. They brought with them this incredible, very sophisticated infrastructure, the roads, the network of roads that still, in many cases, we're still using those same routes today, and the beginnings of urban planning.
Wow.
That Roman influence, even though it ultimately faded, it really left a lasting mark on the landscape and how those communities were organized.
Yeah. The Romans were all about order and efficiency, right? And it's fascinating because after the Romans left, you had this series of arrivals, the Anglo-Saxons and then the Vikings. It wasn't just one invasion replacing another, was it? They each brought something unique to the mix.
Absolutely. I mean, look at language, for example.
Sure.
So many everyday words in English, they come from Anglo-Saxon or Old Norse roots. It was a real process of fusion, a real blend where traditions, languages, everything kind of intertwined and transformed.
Yeah.
And then you have this massive turning point, this moment that reshaped everything, the Norman conquest of 1066. Now, this wasn't just a change of rulers, this was a seismic shift. It fundamentally altered the course of English culture and language, introducing that very strong French influence that's still evident today.
I mean, 1066, that's a date everyone remembers from school.
Exactly.
And the consequences, as our document points out, they really did ripple through every part of society, from the legal system to the aristocracy. It's amazing how a single event can have such a lasting impact.
Huge impact.
And from that feudal kingdom, England gradually transformed into, a global empire.
That's right.
And the Tudor period, that's when it really takes off. Under Queen Elizabeth I, you see the beginnings of that overseas expansion, this era of exploration, this real ambition, projecting English power across the seas.
And it's fascinating, isn't it, how that outward shift really transformed England's place in the world, its relationship with other cultures.
Yeah.
Then fast forward to the 19th century, and England is at the very heart of this vast British Empire. It was an era of immense power, immense influence, and it really shaped global politics and trade in profound ways. And now our source brings us to modern England, a democratic society. But what's so striking is how the past isn't just confined to history books, it's everywhere you look.
It really is. I mean, you can walk around and see those medieval castles still standing guard, universities that have been centers of learning for centuries.
True.
It's a very tangible link to the past that you just don't experience
I
everywhere.
don't. It's special.
So from that grand sweep of history, let's zero in on a place that embodies so much of this rich tapestry. London.
Ah, London. As our document states, it's the undeniable hub. You think about finance, culture, politics. London's a key player on the global stage. And those landmarks, those iconic landmarks, Big Ben, the Tower of London, Buckingham Palace, the London Eye, they're not just pretty pictures, they're packed with history and symbolism, speaking to England's long and complex story.
I mean, those are images everyone recognizes, right, the world over. But our source makes a really important point here. London is so much more than just those famous sites.
It
It's
is.
this incredible mosaic of neighborhoods, each with its own distinct character. You've got the artistic vibe of Shoreditch that kind of contrasts with the elegance of Kensington. It really is a city of many faces.
And that's what makes it so dynamic. It's fascinating how these different communities, with their diverse roots, their lifestyles, they manage to coexist and contribute to this ever-evolving identity of London. And let's not forget the food. I mean, from those Michelin star restaurants to the street food markets, London is a food lover's paradise.
It really is.
You can taste the world in a single city block.
Okay, so we've talked about the urban hustle and bustle, but now let's shift gears and appreciate another vital part of England, the allure of the countryside.
Ah, yes. It's a really important contrast, as our source highlights. That serene beauty of the English countryside has been inspiring artists and writers forever.
Yeah.
I mean, take the Lake District, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. You've got those dramatic mountains, the tranquil lakes, and they weren't just beautiful to look at. They profoundly influenced poets like William Wordsworth, the Romantic poets, who found this deep connection between nature and the human spirit there.
You can almost feel that poetic energy when you're there, can't you?
You can. It's quite something.
And then you have the Cotswolds. It's a completely different feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those gentle rolling hills, the charming villages with their golden stone, and those cozy pubs perfect for a lazy afternoon.
And what's really interesting, I think, is how these very different landscapes have actually helped to create those distinct regional identities within England.
It's true.
You have that unique character of Norfolk and Suffolk with those vast flatlands stretching to the coast, the windmills dotted around, and those coastal marshes. They're just teeming with bird life. It's a different kind of beauty, more subtle, more ancient.
It is. And the document talks about those regional traditions, too. Things like the Cornish pasty.
Oh, yes.
That hearty, savory pastry from the Southwest. It's got a fascinating history linked to the mining communities. And, of course, Yorkshire tea. Up north, it's practically a ritual.
It is.
These local flavors and customs add yet another layer to England's rich tapestry. And speaking of richness, let's move from the land itself to the words it's inspired. England's literary legacy is simply immense.
I think immense is the perfect word for it. For centuries, England has been this powerhouse of literary excellence. And it all seems to come back to William Shakespeare, doesn't it? He's that foundational figure whose works continue to shape the English language, exploring those timeless human themes. And if you ever get the chance to visit Stratford-upon-Avon, his birthplace, it gives you this tangible connection to this literary giant.
It's amazing, isn't it? Words written so long ago still feel so relevant, so alive today. And then you've got this incredible line of writers following in his footsteps. Jane Austen, with her sharp wit and social commentary, so beautifully linked to the city of Bath.
Oh, absolutely.
And the Bronte sisters, their raw emotion, the powerful storytelling, their narrative so intertwined with those wild Yorkshire moors.
What's really striking, I think, is how these authors didn't just tell compelling stories. They captured the essence of their time and place. They embedded those locations into their work, and in doing so, into our collective imagination.
I love that. And we can't forget J.K. Rowling, a more contemporary example, but the Harry Potter series has created its own set of literary landmarks in London and even Scotland.
It has.
The Harry Potter phenomenon really shows how that tradition of captivating storytelling is alive and well.
It really does.
And the document, it emphasizes the importance of libraries, theaters, bookshops in English life. They're not just places to visit, they're integral to the culture.
They are.
It's a society that truly values the written word. Now let's move on to something equally iconic, the monarchy and English traditions.
Ah, yes. The British monarchy. It really captures the imagination, doesn't it? For so many, it represents that sense of national identity, and it's a huge draw for tourists, of course. Those ceremonies, like the changing of the guard, the state opening of Parliament,
Oh, they're spectacular.
they offer this glimpse into centuries of tradition, centuries of pageantry.
There's a real sense of history, a spectacle that you don't really find anywhere else. But as the document points out, it's not all just for show. The monarchy has adapted, evolved into a modern institution while still maintaining that historic role.
It's that careful balance, isn't it? Tradition and contemporary relevance.
Yeah. And along with the monarchy, there's this whole tapestry of other traditions we associate with England. Afternoon tea,
Oh,
the
yeah.
red double-decker buses, the Morris dancing with the bells and handkerchiefs, the village cricket matches on a sunny afternoon, they all contribute to that sense of Englishness.
They do. They all weave together to create this very unique cultural fabric. It's the old and the new, very comfortably side by side.
Now let's turn to England's role in shaping the modern world through industry and innovation.
Now, this is crucial. Our document highlights England's role at the heart of the Industrial Revolution in the 18th century.
Right.
It's difficult to overstate the impact that had on the world. The harnessing of steam power, the rise of mass manufacturing, the growth of these huge industrial centers like Manchester and Birmingham, they became the engine rooms of a new era, driving technological change, social change that spread across the globe.
It's amazing to think about that period of such intense transformation.
It is.
And that spirit of innovation, it hasn't gone away, has it? The document brings us right up to the present day, showing how England is still a leader in science, technology, and design.
What's important to understand is that this legacy of innovation continues to thrive. Those world-renowned universities, Oxford, Cambridge, they're at the forefront of research and development. And there's this vibrant startup scene, particularly in hubs like London and Bristol. It's a hotbed of new ideas, new technologies with global implications.
So from industrial powerhouse to a center for cutting-edge research, it's been quite a journey of progress.
It has.
Now let's explore another area where England's influence has been felt worldwide. It's culture.
Yes. That global reach of English culture is undeniable, especially in music.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, think about the Beatles, the Rolling Stones. Those names transcend generations, they transcend borders, and that musical legacy continues today. You've got Adele, Ed Sheeran. English music has shaped the soundtrack of the world for so many.
It has, it's true. And those huge music festivals, like Glastonbury, they're not just national events. They attract people from all over the world.
They do.
It's a testament to that enduring power of English music.
Yeah.
And it's not just music, is it? The art scene is incredibly vibrant. Those world-class institutions, the Tate Modern, the National Gallery, they house incredible collections spanning centuries and styles.
You're right. From iconic masterpieces to the latest in contemporary art, England offers this vast and diverse spectrum of artistic expression.
Yeah. And then there's football.
Yes. Football, or soccer, as some might call it.
In England, it's more than just a sport.
Oh, much more.
It's woven into the national identity, almost a religion for some.
The passion is incredible. And those clubs, Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal, they have these massive global fan bases.
Huge.
Match day is serious business.
It is.
So-
And what's interesting, I think, is how these cultural exports, the music, the art, the sport, they contribute to England's global identity and create connections between people from all walks of life. They really do.
Yeah.
Now, let's dig into the fabric of modern England, which our document describes as a truly multicultural society.
Right. Now, this is important. England has a long history of immigration, but in recent centuries, it's really increased, resulting in a very diverse society, especially in cities like London, Birmingham, Leicester. You can see this diversity in every aspect of life, what people eat, the music they listen to, the languages spoken on the street.
Absolutely.
It's everywhere. And this richness, it just enriches every aspect of English life. I mean, think about the food scene. As the document points out, you might have a traditional pub serving classic English fare next to a vibrant Caribbean jerk chicken place or an authentic Indian restaurant.
Okay.
It's this wonderful fusion, isn't it? A real blend of traditions and new influences that creates such a dynamic and evolving cultural landscape.
It really does. It adds so much color and flavor, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
Now, the document also talks about the present and looks towards the future, acknowledging some of the challenges that England is facing.
Right. It's important to have that balanced view. The source mentions the ongoing political debates surrounding national identity, the economy, and the very crucial issue of climate change.
Right.
The impact of Brexit is still being felt. It's influencing trade, international relationships, and like many developed nations, England is grappling with those issues of social and economic inequality.
These are big issues that are shaping the national conversation, that are going to influence England's future.
They will.
But the document also highlights England's resilience, that ability to adapt to change throughout its history.
And that capacity to evolve, to change, while still retaining that core sense of identity, it's a defining characteristic. It's this continuous story, isn't it, of adaptation and transformation that's made England what it is today.
It is. As we wrap up our deep dive, you can see England as this land of contrast, can't you? Ancient and modern, rural and urban, steeped in tradition, yet always looking ahead.
You can. And as our document puts it so well, whether you're wandering those historic cobbled streets of York or catching a play in London's West End or taking in the stunning coastal views from those Cornish cliffs, you're experiencing a multi-layered journey through time and culture that's unique to England.
It's true. England is far more than just a place on a map. It's this living, breathing story that's still unfolding.
Absolutely.
So as we bring our deep dive to a close, we've journeyed through England's long history, we've explored those dynamic cities and that tranquil countryside, we've talked about those incredible literary and cultural contributions, and we've considered some of the realities it's facing today. And we've seen how that fascinating interplay between the old and the new, the traditional and the innovative, it's really at the heart of what makes England England. Now here's a final thought for you to ponder. Given England's long history of adapting, of embracing new influences, what do you think the next chapter holds? Which of the things we've talked about today do you think are most likely to evolve and reshape England in the years to come? It's something to really think about.
It is.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.